Uh, Last Saturday, my mom told me that she knew about my YouTube channel, so I can't swear anymore. Hey guys, what's up? And I'm back. And today, I'm gonna do a movie review on the latest Mission Impossible movie, Fallout. Finally, Mission Impossible 6 Fallout has been released like 2 months ago, 3 months ago, and I watched it last night, and oh boy, oh boy. So, Mission Impossible, classic action movie franchise, and it is the sixth installment, but yet it's still very consistent, yet it's still got its quality. It doesn't trail off. It's really stunning. So, the cast is, as usual, Tom Cruise as the lead actor. He still got it. He's like 40 or 50 something, and he's dangling from a helicopter, jumping off of a building. He still got it. Oh my gosh. And Rebecca Ferguson, Ving Rhames, Simon Pegg. He's awesome. Alec Baldwin. And we also have a new cast member. This time, Henry Cavill, with a very, very nice mustache, I must say. I'm growing one myself. You can tell as well. But the director for Mission Impossible 6 is the same director as Mission Impossible 5. So I don't know if this movie will go in a more different direction or will it stay the same. And really, this movie surprised me a lot because this movie, I don't know, I don't even know where to begin with. First of all, it's the sixth installment. They had to, accomplish a very insane, nearly impossible mission once again. So right at the beginning, they cut the bullshit, they cut the crap, they stop beating around the bush, and they get straight into the point. And oh my gosh, when they go straight into the point, they go straight into the point. It's just pure mayhem, and it's just super adrenaline pumping. It's I don't know. I haven't seen such an intense movie for a very long time. This movie just tops it off. I mean, the action sequences of this movie are some of the best I've ever watched in the decade. And man, they're just super intense. I mean, yeah, they're fun, but at the same time, they take themselves seriously. So you can really tell that the writers and the director and the actors of the movie, they're really trying hard to make this movie a great thing. And oh my gosh, I'm just kept on the edge of my seat, and my knuckles were just held tight because it's just so intense. And my hairs were standing up. It's just... And even though plot-wise it's not as original or as creative as I had expected, it's about nukes again, but except this time it's a little more convoluted. It's a little more complicated. There aren't just one nukes, but two nukes, plus a detonator, plus an entire gang, plus the CIA, plus all sorts of other factors and all sorts. And the story itself is actually a little darker, a little grittier, a little moodier. And I won't say it's an interesting direction, but it's certainly, I guess, a smarter direction to go to in terms of the plot. And the character relationships are really convoluted. Not only is Elsa here, Julia also makes a brief appearance, minor spoiler alert. We got the CIA, we got the IMF itself, we got the whole apostles, we got Solomon Lane. He's not dead because we didn't see him die on the previous movie, so of course he's not dead. And we have Ilsa, and because of that, there are a lot of these little plot twists in the movie regarding of one's identity or one's true attentions and who they want to serve. And it's just a huge mess, but at the same time, it's not a hot, dirty mess. The writers really kept it well, kept it I guess, comprehensible so the viewers would understand it. However, if there is one small flaw in terms of characters, I just wish that the conflict between Ilsa and Ethan would play out a little more, maybe. But I kind of get why they didn't explore this, because, the story itself is already complicated enough. We don't need another conflict, please. But, damn. I mean, the characters, as usual, they're amazing. Benji is amazing. He has comedic moments, but yet they don't compromise the dramatic moments. Ilsa is badass as always. And Henry Cavill's character, he's great. He's great. But what really makes this movie such a compelling and exhilarating and exhilarating and adrenaline pumping and intense and suspenseful movie are the action sequences. They are truly, whew. So the first and second act of the movie are not anything that we've never seen before, but they are things that we've seen before and done as good as possible, and it's just this very constantly happening thing, it's action sequences, chases, fights, back to back to back, again and again and again. If it's not a car chase, it's a motorcycle chase. If it's not a motorcycle chase, it's a foot chase. And if it's not any of those, it's a huge fight. And oh my gosh, the fight in the toilet is just brutal. And the way it's sliced into all these sections, it's really masterful writing for an action sequence. And yeah, it's the first and second acts are just the very, very well done, well executed, well written, well directed meat and potatoes action sequences. I guess one of the complaints for the action sequences on the first and second acts are that they aren't all that original, because we've seen them before. It's not like the climb on the Dubai Tower or the underwater scene in Rogue Nation, but it's car chase and fights done to the best possible. And you know what? I'm satisfied. I'm totally satisfied with what I am given on the first and second acts. But it is the last act that really make my jaws drop. And oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So they somehow split the team into 3 parts, because there are 2 nukes and 1 detonator, so they had to split into 3 parts. And oh my gosh, it's just this 3 crazy problematic storylines happening together at once, and the problems, they just get worse and worse and worse, and the stakes get higher and higher and higher, and it's just all of these surprises left and right, and all these suspenseful moments. I could barely catch a breath when I was watching the last act. It's that intense. It's that suspenseful. The helicopter scene, it's just so intense. It keeps me on the edge of my seat, and I could barely breathe. And just before the viewers pass out from the tension, they go one step further. And then just before we die of tension, they go even one step further. It just goes on and on and on. And it's just entertaining and thrilling as hell. I wouldn't even mind watching half an hour more of that crazy ass action sequence. I'm gonna give a spoiler alert just because I really want to talk about the last act. But oh my gosh, when Henry Cavill, aka John Lark, was with the detonator and he went onto the helicopter, and Ethan Hunt was like, you know what? I'll figure it out. I'll get the detonator and I'll figure it out. And as the helicopter was about to set off, Ethan jumped onto the helicopter and he slipped and he somehow caught onto a net, and so he climbed back up And as he climbed back up and killed the people inside the helicopter was spinning, it was out of control, and I was in Ethan's shoes, so I felt super scared and thrilled. But he somehow made it up, and then it's literally a helicopter chase. And then after that, they crashed onto a huge rock on a mountain, and it's not over yet. It's just the beginning. Then we get a very long-winded but scary and thrilling fight, and it's just all these collisions and fights, and they get stuck onto like a little gap in between the mountains. And then I thought, okay, it's finally over, right? Nope. The helicopters, they continue on crashing onto each other, and Henry Cavill and Tom Cruise, they kept on fighting and fighting and fighting, and they kept on almost dying, and they were so close. They were so close. It was like 1 second left, and then it's just white screen. And then after that, we see Ethan Hunt biting the detonator button and spitting it off. And if that's not intense enough for you, we have the Ilsa and Benji versus Solomon Lane part, which is super intense. Not only is the nuke counting down, but Solomon Lane somehow dodged from Ilsa, so Ilsa thought he wasn't there, and when Ilsa was not aware of the surroundings, Lane just grabbed her and tied her up, and the nuke was still counting down, and then Benji heard Ilsa. So Benji came up, and Ilsa was like, no, and then Benji was ambushed by Lane, and then Lane was about to hang Benji up and kill him, and I rooted for Benji so much, and oh my gosh. And Ilsa, there's this moment where Ilsa had a dilemma where it's either her killing Lane or saving Benji. Yeah, this movie. I'm saying Mission Impossible Fallout is pretty mind-blowing, to be honest. And I'm giving it a solid 8 out of 10. It's not super great, but I think it's still great. So, have you watched Mission Impossible Fallout? From 1 to 10, how much would you rate it? Like if you like it, and subscribe if you want more.